What's up? Welcome back to the channel, Detroit Poker. This is episode number 41. As you know, my name is Brian. I'm here with a fellow poker player, and he plays in the Detroit games with us sometimes at 2-5 tables. His name is Selfie.
What's up, guys?
He was kind enough to come over to my house, and it was quite a hike for him. And we're going to talk about a hand that him and I played together, a pretty big pot. And I definitely think it's interesting and definitely worthy of discussions. We're going to jump into that hand right now. All right. In this hand, we were playing some 2-5 No Limit Holdem in Detroit, Michigan.
The table was kind of on the loose side. How do I say that? I'm sorry.
He wants to be like loosey-goosey.
I'm sorry. You can cut this, right?
Yeah. And we are seated at a pretty wild table. There's a variety of things happening at this table. So I am in the small blind, playing approximately 1K, and we get dealt ace-king of clubs. And the under the gun straddle is on for $10. And the dude under the gun 1 opens to 15. And he's playing about 1K also. He might cover. He might have 1.1K.
His range is super wide. He plays almost like 80% of the hands. That's quite big. I was dealt pocket tens on the button. Comes back to me, everybody else folds. That's awesome. Now I got two options here. I can either 3-bet or just flat. Against a super tight open, I would usually flat this hand. But against a wide open like this guy does, I'm going to always 3-bet for value, pure value. So I make it $50. I want to inflate the pot and play in position against this guy. That was my plan for this hand.
The action's on us now, and I kind of have a decision to make, and I'm thinking about cold 4-betting, but at the same time, I think that if we flat this $50 and it gets back to this dude who's under the gun 1, if he actually has a hand, he will let us know that by placing like a pretty large 4-bet. But he's been doing like weird things leading up to this, like min 4-betting people and stuff like that. He's just been doing a lot of weird stuff, and he's playing way too many hands. So honestly, I don't even think this guy has a good hand, but my plan is that I'm going to call the 50, and it may or may not like drag in like big blind under the gun. And then if under the gun 1 does some kind of suspicious 4-bet, we're going to be able to get a read on what Selfie is playing by how he reacts to that 4-bet. So that being said, make a call, $50. And Selfie does kind of shoot me a glance when I make this call.
He flats my $50, and I was kind of concerned. But yay, I got pocket tens on the button. I don't have to be afraid.
The action gets to the big blind, who is a competent player as well, playing pretty deep. Cold calls the 50, and under the gun, the straddler, cold calls the 50. And now it's back on under the gun 1, and he hesitates a little bit, and he cuts pretty much a minimum 4-bet to $100. So as suspected, this guy did exactly what I thought he was going to do. And I don't know what universe he ever has a good hand here, but there's no universe. He just doesn't have a good hand here. So we're going to get to see what Selfie will do on the button. And I think that if Selfie had like nightmare code red, if he had aces or kings, there's no way that he's flatting this.
There's something special about this guy. He always min 4-bets whoever 3-bets him. I don't know why he does it, but he does it a lot. So I'm like, okay, I still know that my pocket tens are way ahead of his range, but I can't really 5-bet here because that could be like overplaying my hand. Yeah, I can still do that, but we flat for $100.
I think it's fair to say that Selfie probably has like some sort of middling pair, like 8s through jacks, maybe queens, and he could also have suited aces, suited kings, all those other hands that he would have 3-bet initially because he's getting such a good price. So I think that takes a lot of strong hands out of his range. So the action's back on us, and what I think I'm going to do is there is, I don't know, $300 dead in the middle right here, and the range that I think the button has is probably we're flipping at worst with that range. And we might even be ahead of ace-queen or something like that, king-queen, whatever. Even though we block it, those hands are still a possibility. So I decide to jam for $1,000. And I don't think anyone's going to call except for the button. That's the only guy I have to worry about. All these other guys are just like, I don't know what they're doing in this hand, but like I expect it to fold quickly to the button, and that's the one that's going to have the decision is Selfie. So the big blind folds right away. Under the gun folds right away. And the guy under the gun one kind of like begrudgingly like sits there and tanks for like 10 seconds. I know he's folding. So finally he does make the fold, and it's back on Selfie.
I'm like, what? Wow, I did not expect this. A flat from out of position, and all of a sudden, a 5-bet jam for $1,000. So I was like, what is Brian doing here? What kind of a hand does he have? Okay, let's start building his range. Does he have aces, kings, queens, jacks, which are the hands which beat us right now? Let's say he has aces and kings. If he had aces and kings, he would have 4-bet me in the first place because I 3-bet a lot. Yeah, I play a little bit tight, but I 3-bet a lot. So against my white 3-bet, his aces and kings are a clear 4-bet, which he doesn't do that in the first place. So aces and kings are almost impossible in his range. So I took them out. And queens and jacks are also candidates for a 4-bet against me, but for some reason, if he had elected to just flat from out of position, he's not gonna 5-bet jam for $1,000 because I could have the queens, jacks myself. So, alright, he doesn't have aces and kings for sure, and he also doesn't most likely have queens and jacks. And I do this thing when it gets to me and I'm on the calling side for all of my stack and the action is over, I try to talk with the villain and try to get a read on him. So I went on to talk to Brian. I was asking him if he's got ace king or queens or jacks. I was consistently trying to get information from him.
And Selfie's just like, whoa, man, I didn't expect that. And he's just like, what do you have? And I just don't say anything at first. And then, he kind of asked me, do you have ace king? And I'm like, I never know how to answer these questions. Like, I don't know what to say.
For some reason, I just got a vibe that he doesn't have me beat for now, which means he doesn't have jacks plus. So, all right, then what the heck does he have? He must have something. He's not he's a great player. So he's not doing that with nothing. So ace king is a clear candidate. But I thought he would 4-bet that out of position. So I'm like, I was completely still shocked. Don't know what to do. He doesn't have me beat. All right, I can't fold. And you can't win if you fold. So I go ahead and make the call, hoping that I was up against ace king.
And when he makes the call, he just kind of like splashes his chips in. He says, I have pocket tens. And then he says, do you have ace king? And I'm just like, he's like, it's okay. Like, I called, it's okay. And I'm just like, yeah, I have ace king. I put my hand right on the table, face up, ace king of clubs. I said, that's what I got. Good call. So we are going to need some help. We're going to go off to this flop, turn and river, heads up. All the action is closed with a sizable amount of money in the pot. So we're going to need some help, dealer. So the dealer puts a flop out and it is 10-6-3 rainbow. Pretty bleak for the ace king. And the turn is a 6 to kind of seal the deal. And the river comes off at an 8. So Selfie turns over the pocket tens and he's going to scoop this pot. I hope you enjoyed the hand history as told from 2 points of view. I thought this was a really good idea. It was pretty time consuming to edit, but nonetheless, I found it pretty interesting. Don't forget to show Selfie some love in the comments for coming on the vlog, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on the hand as well. If you haven't done so yet, why don't you head over to the website, DetroitPoker.net, and over at my website, I have a couple of blog entries. I also sell a coaching package for 1-2 and 1-3 players that are looking to become profitable at those stakes that may be having trouble. I think I can definitely help you become profitable at 1-2 and 1-3 if you're having a hard time. And lastly, I am in the t-shirt business now, and I'd like to sell some t-shirts. So if you're looking for a good way to support the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. If you haven't done so already and you like my content, you should definitely consider subscribing to the channel. And if you ring the bell, you'll get notifications when I upload new videos. And don't forget, check out some of my other videos as well. I have a crash course devoted to how to beat 1-2 and 1-3 No Limit Holdem. It's basically just the basics. So check that out, and I have a bunch of other vlogs as well. I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.